Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So there's a lot of things going on. Right here, we're going to focus a little more on the earth changes. We'll have a couple of short videos out, then maybe come back later on tonight for a live on E Arts. Holy cow, the gym was rocking. In case you're wondering, this is Chile. Very strong 6.9 quake hits Chile. They say no injuries reported. There was damage done. It was deep. It was at a depth of about 100 kilometers or 63 miles deep. Yeah, it's curious because that's a lot of shaking for a 6.9. Of course, it depends on what type of substrate you are standing on. And the fact that this was, relatively deep, it's not super deep, that's curious too, because, that's a lot of shaking. There's been quite a few aftershocks. We have 7 aftershocks basically. After that, this was showing 109 kilometers deep, this USGS. If we look at them in terms of largest, you go from that 6.9 down to 4.8, 4.3, and so on. If we look at them as far as the newest, they tend to be a little bit smaller, so this is probably resolving itself, but at the same time, being over 100 kilometers deep, I think there's a very good chance that you'll find probably somewhere along the coast of South America, another 7.0-ish, maybe moving out towards the South Atlanta Ridge or coming on down here into this very curious area in between Antarctica and South America.
Yeah, very interesting placement.
It is. There's so much going on. There was also a CME that was not Earth directed. It was far side directed, but a large one. That went off, and Stefan Burns was connecting the CME with the earthquake. He was saying how they're almost coinciding exactly. We've been talking about seeing strange, very, very geometric shapes in the radar. This is Mr. MBB, another 6-sided one. There was one we were talking about yesterday that was perfectly square. And you got to wonder, is there some sort of tinkering going on with the weather? Meanwhile,
body cam footage now captures a dramatic rescue in southern Texas. First responders rushing in, rising floodwaters to save a baby trapped inside a car. All this unfolding as heavy storms dumped rain, quickly making roads dangerous. Police say the sudden downpour overwhelmed the car. The baby was rescued.
Everybody's okay. We're grateful for that. Meanwhile, over in the greater Asheville area, this is Chimney Rock, which was extremely pounded. You remember a few years back? Well, it's getting pounded again. So lots of heavy flooding going on right now. It's very disconcerting. The people in this area remember very well what happened and just how incredibly hard hit this area was. I think we're going into a really big cycle. More downpours, torrential rains coming to the Carolinas, especially exactly where we're talking about over the next 4 hours. So, again, keep that in mind. This is, again, not isolated. This is Indonesia. People are trying to salvage things from their homes as their homes are literally being swept away. It's just every day, everywhere we look at, but it's been consistently getting more intense than maybe level, and then it climbs. Well, it feels like we're going up a massive climb right now. This is in China. They've had just as bad weather conditions. They had 2 5.3-ish earthquakes, which caused unusual damage, and we had talked about that days ago. very curious, very, very curious. You look at this, this is in China too. I certainly hope there's nobody inside that. A bridge gave way amid the flooding. And by the way, there is also there's a large dam in Texas, Lake Livingston Dam. This is north of Houston, sinking at a rate of about 8 millimeters or a third of an inch per year. And it's accelerating. This is the thing. The deformation is accelerating. So the dam is literally classified as a high hazard potential by regulators. A failure could cause loss of life, significant property damage, particularly because this dam supplies water to over 3 million people in Houston. What if this dam goes? The sinking is a part of a larger trend where aging U.S. dams are showing signs of instability due to ground shifting and extreme weather. Wow, is it natural or is it Memorex, right? How did the experts manage to record that super El Nino in 1877 if there was no technology? Well, obviously they're looking at different things that we can look at. We can look at tree rings. We can look at all sorts of different things that will show us influence of the weather in what was particularly going on at that particular time. Of course, there would be no satellite data because they weren't allowing us to understand about satellites back then. Doesn't mean that they weren't in place. There's so much to cover and get a lot of people caught up on. So this super El Nino, to me, is it the reality of what's going on behind these things and the developing systems, or is it just a sign of something much, much larger? Because some people believe that we're just really watching the effects of ultimately what's going to be a pole shift, pole reversal. Magnetically, it starts magnetically, but then does the physical catch up to it in what we call a crustal displacement event? That would be one of the worst scenarios. Crustal displacement could end up really causing a massive reset on the entirety of the planet, where you do get tsunamis raging all over, totally disrupted weather systems. I wouldn't be surprised for new land masses to appear and maybe other land masses disappear. Some people are looking at the science and running the numbers and coming to the conclusion this is part of the ECDO, the exothermic core mantle decoupling that's going on. And that decoupling, again, is what's going to end up allowing at some point in time crustal displacement, which really does clean the earth. It cleans the earth, but it's not good for the beings on the earth. So where are we yet? It doesn't look like we're at that point yet, but we're watching an increase in the symptoms that are building up to an event like that.
They've been steadily on the rise to bigger and bigger change. We can see that throughout the world and every day for the last few years. Events in 2017, I feel started a lot of things that are coming to fruition now.
There is so much extreme weather. You have some places that have drought like they've never seen. I mean, here they're literally risking their lives to go get water, 45-foot deep wells. That's just crazy in this day and age when we have so much wealth, so much possibility, so much technology that could be utilized to bring harmony and balance to everyone. The earth is going to do her thing, and she is going to clean off the toxic system that has been plaguing it. This is just simply, it's an autoimmune response. When your body's fighting infection, it sends out the white blood cells to go and clean away that which is affecting the body in that negative way with the infection. Well, this is the same thing. We are all cells on the earth, and I think that the real control group understands this, and the more we keep doing things that are harming the earth, the more we're going to get, a bigger response from the earth itself when it comes time to clean away the debris so she can be healthy again and keep moving forward. Just like, during fasting, right now we're both doing fasting over 60 hours in. Autophagy is peaking. What's autophagy? It's getting rid of the bad cells. It's literally getting rid of the cells in the body that do turn cancerous and, are not at their optimum functioning, so that the whole organism can thrive. Again, I do think the greed that we see, the corruption that we see is a symptom of a very, very sick societal problem which needs to be corrected. Because if we don't correct it, then the earth will. And then that really equals a very great reset.
Definitely, indeed.
Share your thoughts. Come join us, all 3 channels, EE Arts, Evolutionary Energy Arts, Heart's Home, or join us on Patreon. Everything goes up over there as well. Like to know your comments. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.